Sherlock saw a soft cushioned stool on the balcony and immediately concluded that the elderly woman who had fallen the previous night was murdered. First, considering the weather, it had just rained the previous morning, but there wasn't a single water stain on the stool. This meant the stool must have been moved to the balcony during the time the woman fell. According to the autopsy report provided by Hawes, the woman had severe arthritis and couldn't possibly move the stool from the living room to the balcony by herself. Sherlock lifted the stool, and underneath, a nail was exposed, with blood stains clearly visible, evidently left by the murderer when moving the stool. At that moment, Bell found a bottle of arthritis medication on the living room table. Strangely, the tablets were yellow, while he was sure that this medication was supposed to be pink. Sherlock deduced that the murderer had switched the woman's medication beforehand, which was directly related to her death. Perhaps this way, the murderer could more easily push the woman off the balcony. After identification, it was found that the yellow tablets were clonazepam, a drug used to treat epilepsy and anxiety disorders. If taken by a normal person, it could lead to confusion in the brain. The murderer had used this effect to make those around the victim believe she had dementia, convincing them that the elderly woman had climbed to the balcony due to her confusion. Watson speculated that the murderer must have been someone who had access to the woman and the opportunity to switch her medication. From the records, it was clear the woman had been very wealthy in her life, so Watson wondered if this could be a case of murder for financial gain.
Did she have children?
One of the elderly woman's sons was brought to the police station for questioning. He lived locally, while the other two siblings lived far away. When questioned by the police, the man immediately denied killing his mother, but he admitted to having switched his mother's medication. The sheriff was confused. If you didn't kill your mother, then why did you change her medication? It turned out, the man only wanted to impair his mother's judgment. This way, the will he changed a few months ago could be invalidated. Months earlier, his mother had declared she was cutting ties with them, and that she would leave them nothing in her will. But the man believed he had never wronged his mother, so in order to get that inheritance, he decided to switch her medication. Once his mother, who had dementia, was declared legally incompetent, the judge would nullify the will that severed the family ties. But now, the mother's death had made that will valid, and the man would not inherit a penny, so he had no motive to kill his mother. Watson believed that whoever would benefit most from the will was the biggest suspect. However, the beneficiary of the will turned out to be a little dog named Eustacia, who was brought to the police station for questioning. The elderly woman had left her entire inheritance, including a building, to the dog. Since it was a dog, the woman had entrusted her lawyer, Ham, to manage the will after her death. Sherlock thought the lawyer must have wanted to improve his own life through the dog, which was why he was so eager to kill the elderly woman. But Ham explained that the elderly woman's inheritance account had been frozen by the children fighting over the assets. Now only the building in New York remained, and he was struggling to find another lawyer to care for the dog. So why would he kill the elderly woman and complicate things for himself? His words made Sherlock suddenly think of a new motive for the murder. If the woman's account had been frozen, then her only remaining asset was the building. Looking carefully outside, Sherlock noticed that the building was located in an area urgently needed for development by developers.